This video is to show you two examples of the weighted mean. The first one is the following. A company specialized in corporate law charged $120 per hour for researching a case, $80 per hour for consultation, and $230 per hour for writing a brief. Last week, one of the associates spent 10 hours consulting with her client, 10 hours researching the case, and 20 hours writing the brief. What was the weighted mean hourly charge for her legal service? We need to compute the mean of the charges. For example, the mean of this value, $120, $80, and $230. But it will be reasonable to think that they should have different weight because, for example, here what they charge for consultations, $80, you have a special weight because they only spend 10 hours doing that. But the weight for writing the brief will be bigger because this person spend more time, spend 20 hours. So the weight of this must be the double of the double of consulting. So for that reason, it will be a good idea, even if we are going to compute the mean of the charges, so it will be reasonable to use the weighted mean. So even if they don't tell me use the weighted mean, I will use the weighted mean for solving a problem like this. So let's use the formula of the weighted mean. Obviously, the x will be this value, 120, 80, and 230, because we are computing the mean hourly charge. Also, I know that the number of hours then will be a good number for the weight. So let's type here the formula. The weighted mean equals the sum of the weight times x divided by the sum of the weights. And then it will be 120 times the number of hours that they spend in this researching, for example. That is, they charge 120 per hour, but they spend 10 hours researching the case. So it will be 10 times 80, that is the consultation, 10 times 120, that is will be 120 for researching, but they spend 10 hours in that. And then 230 times 20, because 230 is what they charge per hour for writing a brief, but they spend 20 hours writing the brief. So that gives you the sum of all the weight will be 10 plus 10 plus 20, that is written at the bottom. Yeah? So now if you use your calculator, 10 times 80 plus 10 times 120 plus 20 times 230, you get the answer that is 6,600. 6,600 divided by the sum of the weight, that is 40. If you do that using your calculator, the answer is 165. And that's the answer for this problem. Let's see another question. And this question is related again to this Excel spreadsheet that I have shown you before in others videos. In this, we are going to compute the average number of pages of the books this company have sold. And this is the Excel spreadsheet. So if you are going to solve this problem, we are going to find the mean of the pages. And I noticed that the first book have 176 pages. The second one have 296 pages, etc. So if I'm going to do that, I need to take into account how many units have been sold of this book. And I noticed that for pages, they have been sold 15,000 books, 15,000 units sold. So For this book, it's reasonable to think that for this book, the weight will be this, and for the second one, the weight will be this number, 140,000. So the unit sold will be the weight, the pages is X, because we are going to compute the mean of number of pages. So we are going to compute the mean of this variable. So this variable will be X. And this variable unique sold will be the weight. But let's solve this using Excel. So this will be the weight, the unique sold, and I'm going to make another column for the multiplications. I'm going to say this column will be for the weight times the pages, so times X. X is the variable that we are going to compute the value, yes? So remember that we need to know the sum of all the wages, all the weight, and the sum of all the values, and the product of the values and the weight. So remember, it's the sum of the WX divided by the sum of the W. X is the thing that we're going to compute the average, so X will be pages. W will be the frequency or the weight. In this case, the weight will be the number of units sold. So I'm going to add together the number of units sold. So I'm going to use this cell for making this addition. And remember, make sure that you are in the menu of Home, select Auto Sum, and from the menu for Auto Sum, choose the sum. So, and you're gonna get the sum of all the weight. Yeah, that you remember is at the bottom of the formula in the weighted mean. So if you press enter, you see the value. This is in total. There are 1,040,000 pages in total. Sorry, units sold for this publisher. And now for the WX, what we are going to do is actually do that. Multiply W times X, the weight times the value. So I'm going to multiply the weight times the value will be, so I'm gonna, if you are going to type a formula in Excel by yourself, press first the equal sign, so equals, and this is the W is the unit sold, so I just select the unit sold, and then I've used the multiplication sign, that is the star in a cell, then multiply by X, that is the pages, and then enter. So you see the multiplication of these two numbers. But for the second and the third and the fourth, etc. rows, you're going to use the same operation. Yeah? For that reason, you can copy this operation, just selecting the number and dragging down the small square that here is in the bottom. So drag this down until the bottom, and the formula will be copies. We copy the formula, and this formula will be with different answers in each of the row, because in each of the row will be multiplying the unit sold times the pages. And this is the number that we need to add for the sum of the WX. So add together these numbers, again go to AutoSum, select sum, and press enter. When you do that, you get this number. Yeah, it's a big number. But now we can find a cell for the weighted mean. I want to see the weighted mean here below the big number here. So I'm going to write here will be the weighted mean, and I'm going to see the answer here equal, and it will be the sum of the WX, so it will be equal to this. This is the sum of the WX divided by the sum of the W, the sum of these numbers. So, and then press enter. And then you got the average will be 503, around 503 pages in average of the textbooks sold, of the books sold by this company. That this is the same answer that we got using a calculator.